On your tray, you will have a white piece of paper. The first thing you should always do is put your name and class code. And yes, you can use your crayon for that. Whatever your class code is, put it under your name or by your name. Then flip your paper over. You're going to be drawing lines. So, any kind of lines that you want, any lines that we have practiced before or that you've thought of or seen. So, I'm going to start, and we're going to make sure we go from one side of the paper all the way to the other. So, I'm going to start here, and I'll start with a wavy line. Now, I'm pushing medium pressure on my crayon. I know we've talked about that before. If you push too lightly, the magic is not going to work later. And if you push too hard, your hand will just hurt. All right, so I started here and ended on that side of the paper. Now I'll start with a straight line. You might even notice that some of the texture, so some of the bumps on the tray underneath will show up. It'll look cool when the magic happens. All right, now I'll do a zigzag line. What's wrong with that line? It didn't start here and it didn't end over there. So I'll just come back and add a little bit. No worries, I will probably be asking some of you all to do that while you're working today. You've got to start from one side and go all the way to the other. Any lines that you want. We'll do that dash line where I put my pencil down and pick it up. I'll do a bouncy line. Boing, 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 boing. And then maybe I'll finish with a dotted line. And I'm not just dotting like that. You didn't even see what I did. So you've kind of got to make little itty bitty circles. Okay, then you are done. Put your crayon off to the side. You're going to raise your hand, and then I will bring you watercolors, a cup of water, and a paintbrush. When you use watercolors, you want to make sure your paper is set up over here to the far side of your tray because you need this space over here for all of your other materials. Dip your paintbrush in the water first. Remember when we practiced, no bath time, no splish splashing around. Just quietly dip it in, lift it up, and then pick the color that you want. You're going to have to add a few or stroke over your paint color a few different times to get it wet and juicy. Do you see the paint on my paintbrush? You're good to go. In each line, use a different color. This is a little bit dull, so I'm not even going to dip my paintbrush back into the paint. I want this to be a real juicy red, so I'm going to dip right back in to my red paint. And I'm going to see those puddles. I'm going to just drag those across. You don't want your paper too wet because it'll wrinkle and it could tear. Remember when we talked about painting though? Nice back and forth motions. We're not coloring like we're colored with a marker. You're laying the bristles of the hair or the hair of the brush down. You're laying the bristles down. Okay, I want to use a different color. What should I do to clean my brush? We'll dip it in the water. You can even see the water kind of changing colors. You can give your paintbrush a little swirl in the water, but we're not making sound and we are not tapping our brush. No loud paint, no loud water, no loud cups. Okay? I'm even going to kind of drag my brush on the outside. Don't tap it. You might want to just wipe it on the outside. All right? Then pick your next color. And same thing, you want to kind of swirl your brush in there and then paint. Now, these bristles of the brush, they can get pretty upset pretty quickly. So if I see any of you all smashing the paintbrush down into the watercolors, you'll have to take a little time out because nobody wants crazy bad hair on the paintbrush because it messes it up. And you won't be able to use it, and other people at Paul Green won't be able to use it, and that would just be so bad and so sad. All right, so I'm ready to change colors. What should I do? Give my water a swirl, wipe it on the side, and pick a different color. If you ever accidentally dip it in the wrong paint, that's okay. Just dip it back in the water, and then you maybe even need to wipe it on your paper towel. I want you to do the best you can. Be patient, go slow, do not rush, take your time, and spread those paint puddles out. You do not need as much water as you think you do. You want to know the magic, boys and girls? You'll have to try it at your seat. But this paint's so cool because look, I can paint over the crown. All right. When you're done, you're going to raise your hand and I'll give you directions for what to do.